Hari Om. Next mantras, 2 mantras again. We have its 50-51 significance of Jalandhara Bandha. I'm not sure why, but there must be the specific reasons why they go to. So we talked about Jalandhar first, was mantra 40. Then we dived into the yoga disciplines, regulars of your practice, the diet, quite a lot. We have a couple mantras about diet. Then we talked about liberation, and then yoga practices, Kundalini yoga practices. And then we went to the Mula and Uddiyana, and now we're back to benefits of Jalandhara. So I think because we're going to Kechari and then we'll go to the Mahabandha, and that's the Bindu Mahabandha, I think it's related to the way that you practice Kriya. So it's kind of like growing, you put next level for your understanding how to, perform those practices. So let's dive to significance of Jalandhara. And I first read in Sanskrit. Badnati ti shirojatam adhogami nabojalam tato Jalandharo Bandha kanta dukkauganashanach Jalandhare krite bande kanta dukkauganashane na teosham patat yagnau na cha vayu paradhavati. I was kind of laughing because this word is very long. It's one word. Kanta dukkauganashanach. They don't give you specific translation. Kanta dakau, which throat trouble. Agnashanach, it destroys all. So it's one word. Translation here is that is said to be Jalandhara Bandha, which binds or prevents the water of the sky produced in the head from falling down, and which destroys all troubles of the throat. By doing the practice of Jalandhara Bandha along with the destruction of throat problems, the nectar does not fall into the fire, nor does the breath move in and out. And let's come back to, we will talk about this, I guess, in Bindu a lot. I talked about this before, the nectar dropping down. I talk about this a lot in the chakra course. Nectar dropping down through your bindu, from the moon, through the back, and there's a cave, and there's a big pond or lake, I would say, under this cave where it's dripping. And it's basically constantly dissipating through your throat, down through heart into your Manipura. Fire. There's a blazing sun here, the fire, and it gets burned away. And what we're doing, we're reversing that. So we first practice a lot of inversions. That's why I have recently published a couple inversion practices. Check them out. When you do inversion, you first of all, you in Jalandhara, whatever you do in shoulder stand or halasana and all these things, bridge, you first of all closing this passage. Secondly, you encourage the energy apana going from down up, so we're calling it Amrit, this life force, which we've been given particular something mold, we've been given particular volume for our life. When it's all dripped down, we basically, it's time to go to other worlds. But you reversing it, and you start, instead of it's burned in our Manipura, you start sipping it. So you kind of drinking it back through the back of your tongue. And the next Kechari, we're going to talk about this more specific. So stay with me, it's a lot of cool stuff. When we talk about chakras, so Vishuddha and then Lala, and there's another chakra, and Ajna, so in Bindu, it's part of it. We do a lot of this, there. So let's read commentary. Jalandhara Bandha is performed by pressing the chin firmly against the sternum, as described in Mantra 40. We talked about it. By this practice, the glands situated in the throat, and that's what I say, as well as the organs of speech, are compressed and toned, thereby removing all throat problems. It could be just some physical throat problem one might encounter, but it also could be, which is also a representation of what's happening with you energetically on this level. But mostly in this level, Vishuddha, it's when you speak up the truth, or the way sometimes sometimes something like stuck in my throat, I couldn't say anything. Sometimes you're trying to say but you cannot. That's what I mean, I guess, as well. Physiologically, this technique closes the windpipe of your breathing, and compresses various organs, including the sinus receptors, which are located in the throat region. These receptors are sensitive to the blood pressure in the jugular vein. If the pressure is high or low, this receptor sends a message to the brain and heart to slow down or speed up. which is regulate our, basically like what would you fight and fly syndrome. Here's similar about stress. In Jalandhara Bandha, these receptors are compressed for regular duration of time, which slows down the heart rate and induces tranquility of brain and mind. Similarly, anxiety, stress, and anger are also relieved. See how magical is Jalandhara Bandha. Magical and so simple, you just regulate it by closing the connection. By this compression, the thyroid and parathyroid glands are toned and massaged, and it's very important, especially for the women. Sometimes people are kind of like even surprised, like, oh, you practice yoga, why people like look better or younger, this kind of stuff. And it's, you're constantly massaging all your glands everywhere, why you also feel so like more relaxed or magical. I've been accused of having something about my voice. I don't know what is it about my voice, but people kind of drawn to my voice, so that's part of it. And I have a guru as well. When you hear the voice, it's like the world dissipates. Yeah, so there's a lot of it too. So these glands are massaged, improving functioning, which a wide influence on our body growth, metabolism, sexual development. The throat connects the brain with the digestive and assimilative process. The thyroid gland secretes thyroid, T4, which is responsible for the rate of nutrition consumption, cell turnover, and tissue aging. You see, this is basically everything just I say, you're reversing your aging. By squeezing the gland, and nerve stimuli and blood flow promoted and secretory responses modulated. Jalandhara Bandha is therefore a means to consciously regulate the rate of metabolism. The influence of thyroxine pervades the body tissue right down to the cellular level, whereas activates the enzyme and oxidation process. See, for last 50 years, definitely 70 years or more, all these benefits of the yoga, which sounds magical, so simple, something like Jalandhara or inversion, headstand, but there's so much involved, so much benefits, which unimaginable. And if only people can do it and practice this regularly, I can imagine how healthy our society will be. All the pharmacies will disappear, all the horrible polluting production of useless pills will disappear in the world, and we'll have healthier society and less depressed, less anger, more compassion. So much will be avoided. Yeah. In Kundalini yoga, Jalandhara Bandha plays an important role in rising the prana and arrest the process of decay in the body. And the resting, kind of stopping. Yeah? The ancient yogic texts speak of cavity in the head region called bindu visarga, which is situated at the top back of the head below Sahasrara chakra. The term bindu visarga is translated as the falling drop. In chakra symbolism, bindus represented by the moon, which is constantly dripping minute secretions of Amrita or nectar. That's what I told you before. This life-giving fluid drops down from the cavity of bindu to lalana, a minor chakra at the back of the throat, which stores this nectar. From lalana, the nectar falls down to Vishuddha, your throat chakra basically, and then further to Manipura, where it's burned up in the metabolism process, providing heat and energy for the entire body. It sounds like something mythical and, like a legend about our body, but in the same time, energetically, it's very apparent the moment you start practicing, and you can even see this process and feel them, and then even regulate. But it's also very interconnected to the actual physical process, hormonal, and so on. At the same time, there's so many things modern science cannot explain about. Is there a soul? How much it weighs? What is the aging? Yeah, we know something control mitochondria in the cells, which are responsible for aging or multiplying the cells, this kind of stuff. Again, what is what the beyond? What is before that? What is control that? So all these things still not answered, and people spending thousands of dollars and euros to research that. Why just don't look at the old texts and trying to look through? Yeah, maybe in the future. With regular practice of Jalandhara Bandha, this fluid or nectar, which flows down from the cavity of bindu visarga at the top back of the head, is held within the region of Vishuddha chakra, where it's purified instead of being burned up by the fire at Manipura. And my guru will say, you sipping the Amrit. The purification of the nectar takes place only when the nectar is held for some period at Vishuddha chakra. For this process, the nectar is converted into a higher form of energy which does not dissipate, but is used to rejuvenate the body and the brain at the cellular level. The mantra also states that during the practice of Jalandhara, the breathing process ceases to fluctuate. With this stilling of the breath, the mind and body are also stilled, and the practitioner is able to experience the transcendental state, which is beyond duality and mental cognition. I don't know if I need to say anything about that. That's beautiful, nicely described. It's amazing in all these mantras. Usually you have two sentences or whatever, 3 sentences, how they encompasses all these. Real practitioner or sage will see through, and this commentary provided here, they just unravel you how it's all interconnected and what does it mean on a bigger level, and you find out so many little details. So it's constantly we're kind of talking about the same stuff, but it's all the different aspects, yeah. And that's the beauty of your yoga practice. And it doesn't matter how sophisticated it is. It's even as simple as Jalandhara can bring you all this marvelous like that. Usually Jalandhara practice by sitting upright. There's a mantra when we talked about this, number 40, as I understand. But when you do it in inversion, it's amazing, beneficial, because you're physically just reversing, it's all. So practice is both ways. Hari Om.